You're welcome to this next presentation, which is on evidence-based policy making. You would recall that I had told you that this course would focus on what policymakers take into consideration to come up with policies. There are different types of policies, and this particular one will focus on evidence. When policymakers make evidence, what do they take into consideration? I would want you to bring out particularly the link between evidence, what I call here research, and policy making. In other words, I want you to look at evidence in particular as one of the major considerations for policy making. First, what is policy? I would want you to look at different definitions of policy so that when you come to class, we will see how we can bring out the various definitions of policy, and then you would tell me which of these have evidence as basis and which probably may not have evidences as basis. And in trying to look at what a policy is, I also wanted to consider how policies are made. How are policies made? Those are key considerations. Research. Research is quite wide and broad, and so I wanted to look at what research is. And another word for research is evidence. Research, look at different definitions of research, look at different sources, and we will discuss in class, and you come up with what I call a class definition. I would not want you to come up with a textbook definition in class, but as you read through, we'll look at what other scholars have come up with as research or evidence, and then from these discussions, we can come up with what I call a class definition of research based on what you have looked at. A key thing in this lecture is the link. What business does policy have to do with research? What do policymakers have to do with research? And I want you to bring out clearly what is the link between policy making and research. Who cares about research as a policymaker? What would research do to policymakers? These are key considerations. So the word here is link. Can you link research to policy making? Do policymakers need research? We'll discuss that in class. You would find out that some policies are good, they have worked. Some policies are bad, they have not worked. In your own mind, what do you think is a good policy? We'll brainstorm on that in class, and then you bring your arguments as to what makes a policy good and what makes one not good. In conclusion, I wanted to consider that not all policies would rely on research, as you would see. At this point, we'll talk in class about some of the policies that you are quite aware of in this country that have worked and why you think they have not worked. But by and large, you will find out that a good policy is anchored on evidence or research.